What's going on, everybody? My name's Tyler. This is Shawn. We're Rendered Reality, and thanks for joining us again about our go-to podcast for VR, right?
Yeah,
I
sure.
mean, seriously, dude, I love this. I love every Saturday just being here with you guys,
No doubt, me too.
the community, and the freaking content that we are still getting.
Yep.
But the one content I'm not getting is a G2
This
because
thing?
I am on the wait list, man. It freaking sucks, and I'm pissed about it. Don't. I literally was waiting for you to tell me stuff about it, and I'm like, come on, dude. I'm like calling him, asking him. I'm
Yep.
like, what's this? What's
Yep.
that? But yeah, it's we'll get into that, and
Yeah,
we'll
we
get
got a
into some of
bunch.
that later.
We
We
got a
will,
bunch of stuff to
but
get into. We're gonna get into some deep discussion on the G2. Very early first impressions.
yeah,
I mean, Quest 2 updates with Link and stuff. We got a couple new games to talk about. Some amazing looking Medal of Honor stuff. I mean, there's just a ton.
yeah.
I
Stay
mean,
tuned
it's
for that.
getting
Yeah.
close to holiday season. I feel like all the VR stuff is really ramping up. We're getting a lot of
Well,
action-packed
and
stuff to
the
be
crazy
excited
thing
about.
is, I have a friend too that just got a Quest, and he actually called me. Right, he got into it, got it, played Pop One first
Who's
game,
this?
and he a friend of mine, Ryan.
Oh,
He got the headset and went in there, played Pop One first game he played on the Quest, right? But he had tried PlayStation VR when it first came out. So, he had his VR legs, let's call it a little bit. But I'm like, dude, that was your first game to go into? Like, that's pretty rough. And he said he freaking loved it, was blown away.
yeah.
So it was really cool to hear, somebody who kind of wanted to get back into VR, but, knew it wasn't ready. And he loves it. So that was kind of cool to hear. I was kind of excited about that.
Yeah, everybody that I
But
know
yeah,
that have just gotten into VR is really enjoying it so far. I mean, I have a lot of conversations with friends at work and stuff that have just gotten into VR. It's a very exciting time
you
because
still can't get them though. You
yeah,
look at the lead times on stuff. Amazon just changed it. It was 1 or 2 months out. I think now it's like 2 weeks out, maybe,
on the Quest 2.
to get the 64. Yeah, I think you can still get a 256 just because people don't want to pay the money difference. But I mean, it's still off the shelves, man.
Yeah, it's
Best
showing
Buy
right
around
now. It's
me.
showing for me for Quest 2 64 gig. It's showing Tuesday, so it's back in stock right
Nice,
now, and one day
nice.
for the 399 version.
So hopefully they're
Yeah,
catching up with stock, which that's
they
the
got to keep
dream.
it stocked.
That
They
for
got to keep it
holidays,
stocked for
dude. They
holidays
have
for
to.
sure. It's
They
gonna be a
have to.
gift for a lot of people.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah,
I
but
mean, there's big stuff coming to the Quest 2 even still. You know what I
right.
mean?
Quest 2, talking about Quest 2, though, we might as well get into a little bit of some of the updates because version 23 is
Right.
rolling out right now. I don't think I've gotten that update yet. I checked yesterday. I
Nope.
didn't have it yet. It is they always roll out sporadically, so it's never like everybody gets it at one time. It's always a thing of it comes, in periods. So I'm going to check again today. Hopefully I can get it to update today. You can go in and check for update. You can also just leave your
Right.
headset on plugged in, and sometimes it'll start auto updating if you don't have it yet, which is a good thing to try to do. But this update, the biggest thing about this update, I think, is the fact that 90 hertz mode is going to be enabled. So
Yeah.
we've
Oh
been
yeah.
excited about that ever since they first announced it. 90 hertz mode wireless, so that's going to be in the pass through and the menus in games
Yep.
that support it. So the games that are going
Yep.
to support 90 hertz are going to be there, and using Link, so you're going to be able to play PCVR at 90 hertz. I haven't got to try that yet on the Quest 2. I think it was Hussein X, somebody in chat early said that they tried Link at 90 hertz and they said it was awesome. They said they weren't
Oh, I bet.
impressed with Link before. Now they have been impressed, so that's going to be
It's
pretty
just
big.
crazy to see what they're pushing out of this wireless headset.
Right.
You know what I
Well,
mean? On mobile now, it's like, gosh, it still just impresses me
yeah,
every
like
time.
we said, I mean, it's the same thing as the first Quest. It came out and they just keep making it better and better as it goes on. And that's what we're gonna continue to see that. So I mean, all the Facebook jargon aside, it's a hard headset to beat right now. Still at that
It
$299
is.
price, it's a great
I know.
pickup headset, and it's getting better and better. It really is. I'm excited about that. Good.
The other thing that I got for my Quest, which, well, for Oculus, I guess, let's say, but that I was super surprised with, is I actually got a 30% off code.
Yeah,
Right?
I tried to use
So
it and it didn't work for me.
I know,
It's
and
so
it didn't
weird.
work, and it's just a generic code, and it must be per account, or certain
Yeah.
people are getting them, which I thought, okay, maybe because I haven't bought anything in a while, but I have. So I don't know why I actually got it, but make sure you check. It did show up in app. So if you go to buy a
Yeah.
game that's full price, not on sale, no promo, it'll say right at the bottom where you go to purchase it, it'll say Oculus 30 for 30% off.
Right, and you should get an
And
email too.
Yeah, and I
If
got
you
an
got it.
email for it, but
I didn't
Shawn
get the
didn't.
email.
So
Yeah, so
I'm
I
interested
tried to
who
use.
got that. Yeah,
I tried to use Tyler's code, and it
I
said
know.
it wouldn't work. So I was like, that's so weird. So it's
I
just
know.
like the $10 store credits that go out every once in a while,
Yep.
and some people get them and some people don't. I don't know what they base that off of, but it's worth a check to check it out. Another
yeah,
thing,
if you guys got it, let us know too, because I'm trying to figure out who got it and why. But I'd love to see if anybody checks in chat too on their app.
Another thing with this, some updates from Oculus is that we're going to see Oculus gifting now. So you're actually going to be able to gift games through Oculus, kind of like you do with Steam, which is long overdue. But I'm also still hoping for gift cards. I don't think that has been verified yet for gift cards, but I mean, come on. I mean, you got to get the gift cards out there.
Come on. Yeah.
So I am really hoping for gift cards. We've been talking about gift cards for a long time, and if that doesn't happen, I'm going to be pretty surprised and angry.
Yeah. Chatty in chat said the codes are attached to account, and yeah, they are definitely attached to the account. I'm just curious why people get them and why people don't. If there's any correlation.
Some people get them and some people don't. I don't know.
Virtual, I ignored my 30% off coupon at Oculus. That's kind of some opinions right now. Yeah. And that's why we have things like the G2 and stuff like that. So
other options.
We'll get into
great to have.
Yep.
Still need a Quest 2 competitor. I'm still would still love to see that. So
direct competitor.
Yeah. Also in the version 23, they're doing the fitness tracking stuff, which even if you have the version 23, I guess you don't necessarily have the fitness tracking stuff yet. That's kind of rolling out sporadically too, I guess. But that'll be cool if a lot of people, so many people, especially nowadays, are using VR for fitness, and it's a great way to help yourself get in shape, stay moving, and you don't even realize it because you're having fun playing games. So it's
through the winter situation. Too.
Oh,
if you live in a state or a country where you have a lot of snow and stuff, you're not outside running as much. There you go. Easy solution. Do stuff at home. It's awesome. It is. I actually really want to get my wife back into it now that they have all the tracking built into Oculus. I think she would love it even more. I really do.
The fitness tracking now.
Yeah, the fitness tracking.
Yeah, so I'm most excited about the 90 hertz mode. I think most people are. That's going to be the biggest bump. And you're also going to be able to change those settings, I guess, too, where you can go 72 and you can actually do an 80 hertz mode, similar to the Rift S, as well as a 90 hertz mode. So maybe depending on performance and stuff like that. But good. I'm all about options, so give me more options. It's fine with me. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I know there's one game I want to pick up.
What's that?
Saints and Sinners. I never got it for the Halloween stuff on the Quest.
I have it on Steam.
And it's not that I don't have it already on Steam. I know, and that's my problem. It's like I hate to buy it twice, and we talked about that last week. But I just really want it on the Quest to show people. So maybe that's going to be the ticket. I don't know.
That's what you're going to use your 30% off on?
Yeah, I mean, off a $40 game, that's a good bit. Yeah. So I might actually do that.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So I actually just bought a game on Oculus last night that we'll talk about a little bit later. The reasons that I bought it on Oculus is kind of crazy.
Right.
But but we'll get into that a little bit later. So
mug shots, man, looking good.
Yeah, a couple mug shots. I saw a Rizzle Rock on one of the Rendered Reality shirts. His wife got it for him for his birthday as a birthday gift. I thought that was really cool. So
it is.
And happy belated birthday to him. There's the picture right there. I thought that was
there you
really
go. Happy birthday.
Yeah,
man.
super awesome.
It is. It is
awesome guy. So really cool to see. Let me see here. What do you want to? One thing talking about Quest 2 still, even though this isn't direct to Quest 2, is the VR ears. So a lot of us have had that on back. This is a Kickstarter thing that we did a long time ago, and this was supposed to be launching, I believe, right around now. Actually, maybe a little bit before now. It was early November, late October, something like that originally. And now they have an official release date of July 15th, 2021. So it's definitely gotten pushed back. We know 2020 has messed up a lot of things in manufacturing and everything else. So I'm sure that plays a role. It was also a Kickstarter, which never seems to ship when they say they're going to ship. It's almost always later than usual. But a lot of the people that I've talked to are a lot less excited about these now because of the delays and everything else, and because we have some other options that have rolled out. I'm using the engineered AF clip-on headphones in the Quest. I'm loving those, by the way. I'll probably do some video stuff on that, but he's having trouble keeping up with the demand, so he's not taking new orders right now. So I don't want to talk too much about him where he gets a bunch more. But
Tony
Digital, man. For being the best VR content show out there, even though you don't believe it.
Thanks. No, we're literally just here to hang out. That's it. That's literally why we're here. That's it. Hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
But seriously. I mean, I think I talked about it, on our last stream maybe of Pop 1, that I don't know. It's, you're adding weight to it. Now we have a wait to where there's going to be other stuff come out even in between, probably. I don't know. Yeah, and having the battery and
another
you can
thing
buy
to
headphones you
recharge.
can just plug in.
They're looking bulky.
I don't
I mean,
know,
they
man.
always
They
have,
are.
but when I
They
see them on the
are.
Quest 2 in these images,
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
white.
man, they look
Right.
big. They just look
Yeah.
pretty big and bulky. But I am hoping, though, that we get some index style audio, or at least the close to that quality, because the index audio, I just
Sure.
can't say enough good
If
stuff
it
about
is,
it.
if it's up to par with that, they're off ear, it's index quality, I probably
Yeah.
would still rock them all day.
Yeah,
I really
if
would.
it ends up being that good a quality, then I will too. I'll take the time to charge them and everything else, because I do love that audio, and I don't love things touching my ears. Like these headphones right here, these kind of things drive me crazy, because
I know
for
they
one,
do.
I'm a glasses wearer, so they push on my glasses, into my head. I can't stand. Even after doing this show for like an hour, sometimes 2 hours, I usually have a headache and these things don't put that much pressure. I've stretched them out to where they're not squeezing my head real hard or anything, but
Yep.
I'm just weird. I have trouble with that kind of stuff. I can't wear earbuds. Earbuds hurt my ears, every single pair that I've ever tried.
Pick these ones up. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, these are actually the most comfortable ones I've found, but and those are actually really good too. I have used those when I've been at your house. They're a lot better sound quality than what I have here, but I usually just use these for the show and stuff. But
they're wide. They're wider. Look how wide these like go. They don't
Yeah.
put as much tight pressure on, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
So I don't know. I am excited for the off-ear thing. I think that we're probably going to start to see more products go this route, I think. I don't know. I'm still surprised that this is the only third-party accessory that we've seen so far that is officially off-ear, index style. I think, honestly, Valve just needs to go the same route as HTC did, selling their deluxe audio strap, and somehow make a solution of a clip-on headphones for other headsets. I mean, I think that would be
Gaming science teacher asked the question: has anyone tried the knockoff DAS without headphones for Quest 2?
Is that the Amazon
do you have
one?
the image I gave you? Yeah, the one
this
with
one here.
headphones?
So they have one with headphones now too, and I think
Right.
this one is $65. Is the one with the audio? The other one's like what, 30 something, 40 something. I'm curious too, because I have not tried this either. I was looking up some of the stuff. It's made of ABS plastic, so it should be decently durable. I don't have any idea what the sound quality is supposed to be on this, or what it will be. I'm guessing this is like a Chinese-built product that is on Amazon.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's all it is. But I mean, it could be a good solution for somebody to do it cheaply. I mean, if you're buying a $299 headset for only another 60 some bucks, you can kind of have everything. And I'm not saying it's the best solution, nor do we have it or can say that.
It's cheap,
but it's cheap and it gets you into it.
Yeah, and it might. We should just order one of these to try. I really need to, because I'm curious. But it doesn't look terrible. I mean, and from the images, it doesn't look bad. The back strap is actually pretty large, so it should maybe be a little bit of a counterbalance, as well as just distribute some of that weight a little bit. I'm curious. I'm trying to see.
The price, it's your cheapest way to get into something all included. You know what I mean? Other than spending, deluxe audio strap. Okay, the cheapest you can get it for maybe $80. They're going for right around 100.
Yeah.
Then you have to get the adapters.
Those are going to last brand new.
Right.
They're going to sell out. But and I kind of agree with Alyx. He said things change so fast. These companies need to get their stuff out way faster if they want to be successful. And I agree. And then it's hard though. 2020 has been a hard year, so I don't want to be too hard on companies, because I know it's difficult in the manufacturing process this year. Everything's just screwed up about 2020, so I can kind of understand it.
But I feel like even with these, like with Rebuff's headphones, they're throwing other things at them, like more colors. So now you're just talking longer production and more stuff being thrown at it. So they're kind of delaying themselves, hoping to hit a bigger market, which I understand, but is it too late? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. And truthfully, I feel like the engineered AF ones are the way to go.
They're great.
And
I
mean,
just
we need
saw
to support this. Somebody like this for the community, we really need to support them.
So Scott Merrill just said, thanks for that super chat, by the way. He said, I just got my engineered AF headphones yesterday. Early impressions, they're awesome. Love the show, guys. So appreciate that. And I agree.
Cheers.
Like I love those headphones so far, and I was a huge fan of the CV1 audio. So and it's essentially sounds basically the same. The bass is really good. Like that was one of the first things I noticed going from the built-in audio strap to those headphones is the bass, the better bass. And they're just they're great. They still flip out, and then they don't put a ton of pressure on my ears when they're in. They actually put less pressure on my ears than the Mantis ones did for whatever reason. Those ones gave me a little bit of discomfort after a while of playing, but those are a good option too.
Just gonna try and grab that.
Would you consider Index worth buying still if wanting a high-end PSVR headset? That was from Mithril Chew. Thank you for that super chat, by the way.
Cheers.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Still
Yes,
Yeah,
I would definitely
sure.
recommend the Index as a high-end PCVR headset. I still think, we're going to get into some of this in the show later with the Reverb G2, but I still think high-end PCVR, that is the highest end PCVR you can get, I think. I don't think you can really get higher end in terms of, tracking quality, build quality, all of it wrapped into one. I think the Index is a great headset, and they have really good warranty as well. People that have had issues, they're great about fixing any issues that they have. The RMA process is easy. Luckily, I knock on wood, I haven't had to send mine back for anything. I've had really good luck with my Index, actually. So I don't know.
Yeah, I replaced both of my controllers, actually. One for ClickGate, and then the other one for breaking it, basically, on my own, which they completely warranted.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
and
no
you smashed it. I mean, if you were watching the show back in the day, he smashed it on a table, broke the controller in half while playing VR on accident, and they warranted it. So yeah, absolutely great company. Valve's a great company. I mean, they really are. So
I agree.
I would not hesitate to recommend the Index to anybody. So that's just
the Index is still definitely top tier headset. There's no getting around it. It is the best, well-rounded. Now the controllers, I still feel like are that in between stage where they're not great ergonomics, but they're good controllers.
Controllers are tough because everybody's a little bit different. It's kind of like headsets. For me, the controllers, they're not my favorite. I prefer touch controllers over the Index controllers, but there's other people that love the Index controllers that prefer those over touch controllers. So I think a lot of it's personal preference. I just think, like you said, the ergonomics, I think the thumbstick for my hand could have been better placed where the touchpad is. And there's a couple
Why
even
have the touchpad? I've never once used the touchpad.
Yeah, me neither.
Have you?
No, not that I can think of. Unless I used it on accident sometimes, and I was like, what the heck? You know what I mean?
I just don't find anything in VR that I need a slider for, because you just reach out and grab everything. So why do I need like a touchpad on there? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I agree. Can we talk about this new trailer for the Quest and the Pop 1 Star Wars stuff?
Yeah. I mean,
I love this trailer, but
I love it. I get it,
but
though. I know you're like, dude, like, come on, and I get it. Like, I get this isn't what we're playing, and this isn't what we're living in, but it is the feels that it gives you. You know what I mean? So
I saw this trailer and I was like, holy crap! Like, Population 1 looks nothing like that. And my only concern was like, man, if somebody sees this commercial, they've never experienced VR before, they're like, what? I want to play that. They run out, buy this headset, jump in Population 1, and they're like, what? Does that look anything like it looked like in the commercial? But
that's what it feels like, dude.
Understand
Come on,
that.
like, when you dream about it, you don't dream in like pixels. You know what I mean? You dream in experiences. So I get it. Like, when I think of me playing VR, I don't think about the textures and what I am and not seeing what it could look like.
Yeah, to me,
I don't know.
It doesn't look as real as this, but sometimes it feels as real as what that trailer looks. And that's maybe what they're trying to get across. Because, I mean, I have real memories of VR that I swear I did these things sometimes. And it's
100%.
Yeah. But the trailer looks really cool. And you actually want to talk about a little bit, because talking about Population 1 just for a quick second, the gold right now, that gold update is out. We tried to stream on Thursday. We thought that was supposed to be out Thursday because they announced it Wednesday. So we went in Thursday thinking we were going to get some free gold, and we didn't get any. So it didn't come out till yesterday, which was Friday. Yeah. So now by playing with friends, so you get there on the left side, there'll be a little bars that go up for the achievements for doing things like right off the bat. If you add 2 new friends, you get some gold. If you complete 1 game with friends, you get some gold. So
which I highly recommend dropping your friends and re-adding them. I'm just
going
to say
that. If you want to cheat the system, you can delete your friends and re-add them. And when I went in for just a little bit yesterday, and there was people in the lobby. So a lot of people are trying to fist bump in the lobbies just to get that gold and stuff. There's some new skins in there, and the gold is used for skins. I don't think there's anything else that it's used for other than skins. But there are some new ones in there now to check out. Some pretty cool looking skins, actually. So, and I still haven't bought any skins or anything yet, but I know you're super tempted by some of the skins.
Well, I need that up, man. The skins for that, because that's one of my favorite guns in the game now. It really is. I just love the sniping in there. I do not hate any of the occlusion looking down the scope. I've learned to like it, actually. I don't know. What I do is for like quick scoping, what I like is it's just a quick grab. So you let go of the front of the gun when you're scoping, and then you get full view. And then when you grab it again, it's boom, right back into the scope. It's just working so good.
Yeah, I need to practice my sniping.
The up push, you push forward on the stick and it zooms, which is a little odd because when you shoot, it pulls you back out of the sight to reload, and then I'm looking up because of the stick movement. So I think that needs to be taken care of. But other than that, it still works good.
Yeah, and they quieted down
yeah.
the lobby. So the gunshots in the lobbies are quiet now, which was super annoying.
Oh.
People just shooting everybody like crazy. That's a big
You
improvement.
liked my last tip, though. When you're taking off in the pod flying, you'll notice it the most. But turn your SFX volume down to 50%, maybe 40% in the settings as you're flying in the pod. You'll love me.
Yeah, it does make a big difference because it doesn't turn everything else down, just some certain sound effects that are a little bit too loud sometimes when you're trying to hear your squad and stuff like that. So that is a good tip. I just want to mention real quick, Meowmix said, in my opinion, there's no Quest 2 lens defect. It's just people being used to the static IPD system. People complaining of lateral edge blurriness. That's a static IPD thing. So the one thing I do want to say is that really I've noticed, because it's that set IPD, right? And you only get those 3 different positions. It makes a huge difference because the angle changes when you pull the headset away from your face, right? So it changes the angle from your eyes to the lens to the screen when you do that. So I highly recommend trying like the glasses spacers and stuff like that. Too,
It really does make a difference. Or how tight you have it. It's crazy. It does. It makes a difference. So just try it. Play with those as well.
Yep. And you can also, if you end up getting your VR cover stuff, there's 2 different thicknesses. You can play with that. You can play with the glasses spacer. There are some tricks to kind of move that around. I did see something on Reddit where some people were saying that there were some lenses that were stamped like with a Q and a W or something like that, and they RMA'd some of them, and the ones that had those letter stamps on the right lens, actually they had a lot more issues with than the ones that didn't have that. I have no idea if there's any merit to that claim or anything like that. I looked at mine didn't have, neither one of my headsets had those number stamps on them. I'm not sure about that, but so
can we get into the one image from this video? Did you pull that in? Because I kind of wanted to just rip this apart a little. And I've been talking about it and hoping that games would do this. And they have talked about it in Population 1 before. But in this image on the right side, you see one of the billboards destroyed and on the ground. And they've talked about having events in game, kind of like Fortnite has done. I think Call of Duty has done it. The new ones I haven't actually played, so I can't speak for that. But I'm really hoping we see some awesome environment changes, whether it just be updates or seasonal or every, quarter, we see environment change, like stuff broken down or a plane crashed into it, or these really cool things that just change the play of the game. I feel like I play it different every time as I'm running through, depending on where I land, but this would just change it even more because those spots you like and the angles and the towers you like might not be there anymore. So I'm really hoping that they do implement this, and kind of in this image proves it to me that they will be doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping.
I mean, you're thinking events happening like, you got an event going on where apocalyptic kind of thing, and you go into the map and things like this are all destroyed and the whole environment is changed by
my dream would it be to happen in game, just like we get drops and stuff, you know what I mean? Like you would have something crash and destroy it. That's my ultimate dream. I think that's probably not going to happen. It will probably just be environment changes, and I'm totally okay with that. But I'd love it either way. Just to change the game up and stuff, I think would just be amazing. Even though they already are. I mean, look at the skins we're getting now in a row.
Yeah.
How fast. So
even just the energy cores, those little events, even just mini events like that. I mean, how many people went into Population 1 for that week because they wanted to go after those energy cores? So as long as they keep doing stuff like this, I think this is some of the kind of things that VR games need multiplayer wise to keep that player base up and keep people coming back. So the more they can do that kind of stuff, the better. Even right now, you got I don't know how long this lasts. I'm guessing a week again. The free gold for playing with friends. I mean, that's just little mini things that keep people coming back into the game that VR really needs.
Steve XM just said we got pumpkins and fog too over in Cemetery for the Halloween stuff. And that stuff's awesome. Just keep those things rolling, and oh man, just keeps it so spicy. I love it. G2. Yeah, we are gonna get into some G2 conversation here too. But cheers, guys. Good seeing everybody in chat. See everybody rolling in and stuff. It's nice to see everybody again. What was the other one I wanted to bring up? I guess that was it for Pop One. Can we get into some Medal of Honor, man? I'm really, I can't retain myself for the hype for this game. It literally checks every box, and partly in this looks like old school GoldenEye to me, the snow and stuff and the sniper. I don't know why, but this is actually, is this the right one or is this the trailer?
No, this isn't the trailer. This isn't. So we'll get into that after talking about the game a little bit.
Okay.
Because we have something kind of cool for that.
And I think we talked about last week that they are talking about bringing this to Quest 2, which
that was this week. That happened this week. That they
is that this week? Okay.
Yeah, they actually talked about that. I think it was maybe on Twitter or something that they actually said that they have plans on trying to get this onto Quest 2. That's going to come after the PSVR release, so it's not going to be right away. I don't know how long that's going to take them, but the fact that they're even talking about doing that, I think, is phenomenal because this game. I mean, right now the thing is with the Quest being as popular and as cheap as it is, that's where the most games are probably going to sell for right now. You know what I mean? Games they sell a ton of games on Quest. So getting this on the Quest 2, I think they mentioned Quest 2. I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to end up being exclusive to Quest 2 or if they're going to try to get it on Quest 1 as well. I'm not sure, but it's a good thing. I mean, and you can play this on PSVR, through Link if you have a capable computer when this thing comes out. But this game looks absolutely phenomenal. This is right now my most anticipated game. It comes out, what is it, December 11th. So we don't have that much longer to wait. Another cool thing that they're doing about this, I mean, not only the fact that this is, a World War II game, that you're going to be playing scenarios and stuff that actually happened in World War II. So you're going to almost be living through history. You're going to get a history lesson by playing this game. And experience some of the things that happened and that emotional connection a little bit, of what these people felt like that had to go through some of this. And one of the big updates to come out is about the gallery. And they've done this in some of their previous games. And as they were making this game, they filmed a lot of the stuff with actual World War II veterans and stuff that are out there and some of their experiences and the story and all that stuff. So you're going to get to go into the game and experience some of that, which I even think may be a little bit emotional for especially some people that have family that, served in World War II and stuff. I just think this is cool and a good way to keep history alive. And I mean, you can learn more, I think, from this kind of an experience than you could other medias and other ways of learning.
And the other thing I like, is this kind of stuff where they're doing the backstory.
Yeah,
and
it's so cool.
Online they have the journal stuff where you can go and research stuff. So they're building like this whole, just world around it that people never got to experience that now get to live it, which is crazy. We've only heard about it. So now you get to go back and experience that and feel the emotion, feel scared, or, see all this happening, and gives you a different appreciation for it.
Yeah,
And that's
it really
what's
does. And
super
I mean,
cool
it helps the memory of some of these people and some of their memories live on. How many people got to experience World War II that struggled to talk about their memories and the history of it and stuff that, kind of died with them in a sense, and nobody ever got to experience that. So I'm looking forward to this. I think this is going to be really cool in so many different facets of playing and experiencing this. Just so cool.
Somebody in chat was saying that they're worried about the gameplay footage, that it's going to be like an old school rail. I think it's going to be a little bit more like Half-Life Alyx, where it's guided but open, would be my guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll
have to see.
I don't know how narrow those rails are going to be. And it's not going to be open world. I mean, it's going to be a guided, deal, but still, I think it's amazing. And the more freedom that they give us, the more realistic it'll feel.
I mean,
and multiplayer.
Yeah, we should be able to play this together, play it in co-op and stuff. So we will probably I would guess we will probably stream this playing together. I hope, because I think that's going to be awesome. I mean, I love getting to experience this kind of stuff with people. It's going to be so much more fun than playing it on my own. So
to yell about things and I need help and all that kind of stuff. Dude, did you see that? Yeah, exactly. Right. Did you see that plane go down? That was crazy.
It's so weird drinking out of this cup and not a mug.
Oh yeah, I love a cup.
I'm addicted to this coffee though. My wife got me some this morning.
But we have more gameplay footage from this, which is pretty cool. Freaking incredible. The experience is super cool. I highly recommend everybody to try after we show you guys this.
Explain this a little bit.
The sound, wear headphones, listen to it, because the sound is beautiful in this. This is actually an experience now you can try from the game, where you can go into different gameplay scenarios. They're only clips of
not
maybe
in VR. It's just on a web browser.
It's an experience, on the browser, and you can only do in Microsoft Edge, which used to be Explorer.
We only tried Chrome and Edge. It didn't work in Chrome. It worked in Edge.
Right,
didn't work in Chrome. I'm not sure what other ones it'll work in,
but you get to see a lot more gameplay in this, which is super cool. And the audio is amazing. I mean, when your paratrooper goes down through the trees and you hear the branches and the leaves going past you and stuff, I literally got goosebumps for it.
Like some of it's stuff we've seen in the trailer, and then other stuff is like actual gameplay. Like this part here kind of showing you're parachuting down through stuff.
that
And
part.
the link for this is in the description, so you can go to this, and it's basically just little mini stories that takes you through, I don't know, 8 stories or something, a little scene like this, and then you click on it, and it plays through a little trailer and some gameplay and talks a little
10 seconds,
bit.
15 seconds.
It's pretty cool.
Seconds,
we did this before the show this morning. We were both checking this out, and we're like,
so
man,
good.
this is actually pretty cool. It's a cool way to just get a little
really
bit more information about the game and see a little bit more that we haven't seen in some of the trailers and stuff.
It just gives you those AAA feels, like with it, like the audio, the sound, everything about it. It's just,
this is Respawn.
I really hope it lives up.
How long have they been working on this game? I remember hearing about this way back. I mean, it's been years that they've been working on this game, maybe
plus,
more.
Yeah, I know.
It's been
They've
a long
talked
time.
about it.
I mean, they teased it at like a Oculus Connect like years ago. So
it was. Yep, they talked about doing it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, it shows you.
You're right.
It shows you some of the different guns, some of the environments. Throwing grenades, Gatling guns, like RPGs. I don't know if they were called RPGs back then, but
the cool thing is you can play this on the G2 because now you're going to be able to get it on Steam as well,
Steam
which is
Oculus.
amazing. I'm so glad that they're doing that. I mean,
originally I thought for sure this is going to be Oculus exclusive for at least a little while. I think everybody kind of thought that because it was funded, a lot of funding from Oculus.
Somebody asked, what is this game? This is Medal of Honor Above and Beyond.
Yep.
We highly recommend checking out the link in the description. Now or after the show, whenever.
Yep.
But come back.
December 11th. I mean, we don't have that much longer to wait. So
we don't.
I'm really excited about
this. Will be my holiday go-to, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm going to drag this game out, though. A lot of people push through Half-Life Alyx, like slam through it in a day or two. And I really enjoy dragging it out, except we're going to be able to play together. So maybe I won't. I don't know. That's the hard part. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would have loved to play Half-Life Alyx together. That would have been like a dream come true because I love that game.
Exactly.
And I played that game through because that was right when all the COVID stuff started happening. I played that game straight through like that week when all that stuff was first going down and I was barely working. So really it was good timing for me, but I love that experience. But there was so much cool stuff in there that when you're playing, I would love to be like, dude, come look at this. You know what I mean? Like, you got to see this, or, it's just, I don't know. It's just to me, the experience of the connection of doing the VR stuff with somebody is
those
really
scenes
awesome.
that were just on give me the feels of like old school GoldenEye. Don't know why. Like the part where you're going across the satellite tower and stuff. I don't know why, but some of that gives me those feels. Yeah.
That pump shotgun was looking pretty good too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it sounds amazing too. But you got to go listen to the audio of this too. Super cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. I'm excited. So, and somebody was asking, you guys think the multiplayer will be good? And I know, so there should be a co-op mode. I don't know if there's going to be like a PvP multiplayer. I can't remember now. I know they talked about some of that early stuff, and I can't remember if there will be an actual PvP. If there is PvP, that's going to be awesome. I have to look that up to see. Because I know they talked about some different stuff early on.
Oh, yeah. Limba Zero said the commentary stuff for Half-Life Alyx. Yeah, have you seen that? That's pretty cool, too.
Yeah, I actually haven't went into that to experience it, but the trailer, I was watching the trailer, and the trailer looks really good because essentially you play the game and they give commentary, different people all throughout, of what was going on in that, time or whatever in the game. And I don't know. Like I said, I haven't tried this yet. I think the update is out. Cool. I know my Half-Life Alyx updated yesterday. I did go into the game yesterday, but I didn't do this. I was kind of going in to test some different stuff and things like that. So this is kind of neat. I think it's cool. They've done this before with some Half-Life games, and this is neat. So I wouldn't mind checking this back out. I don't know how, because as far as I understand it, it's like the full game, right? You play the full game and they do this, or is this just there's
pop-ups of things you can put on for descriptions and stuff like that. By putting like on headphones to hear it and all that kind of, it's really cool. I think it's a cool concept. I like what they're doing, especially implementing the VR instead of just like it happening around you or something.
And especially from somebody like Valve too, because they're kind of a closed door companies that you don't always know a whole lot about what's going on behind those doors. So to get kind of a sneak peek of what was going on in the mindset of some of these decisions and some of the stuff, I think that's cool. So, and Half-Life Alyx it's such a good game. I mean, it was,
I know.
I mean, and I think it won best VR game of 2020 from the VR awards and stuff too. So it's a great game.
So good. I know. I just wish they had like a co-op or a multiplayer, a true mod, not mod stuff, but like a true in-game. It just make that game.
And the water, these bottles, they still in this game, the water in the bottles, that still was one of the coolest things. I remember just playing with the bottles, like, man, this looks incredible. It looks so good. This was the first game I went into in the G2. Just throwing that out there. So
right, I know. I kept debating like what mine would be. I personally, because I just played Population 1. I like to go into what I just played in another headset
Yeah.
because I have that direct remembering comparison.
Yep.
So
I
haven't
that
played
too.
Half-Life.
We'll get into that.
Right. And I like doing that myself instead of going into maybe the best experience where that doesn't show off the graphics. I kind of want to do a direct comparison.
A to B comparison.
I'm different.
Bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, I agree. Let's talk about some B Haptics, because I've been interested in B Haptics for a long time, but I never pulled the trigger because it was just too much money for me. It was
it's hard.
It was just, I don't know, and there wasn't a ton of games back then that were implemented, but you know, we got these new ones that are coming out in the X40 and the X16. A lot of games I've seen are jumping on board for this. They're getting implementation in there. And the thing that is really intriguing to me, so they have the X40 and the X16 that are now available for pre-order, and the X16 is starting at $299. That's a pretty big price cut from what we've seen previously for really good haptics like this. So you got the 40 sensor one, or the 40 motor one, that is, I believe, $499, and then the 16 one comes with 16 motors, and that one is $299. So that has me a little bit more intrigued.
It does, and I don't think you probably need that many. I mean, I guess the more the better, don't get me wrong, but for that money, it's a big difference. So
so for me, my thought is with talking about the number of them is when I'm in VR and, you know, if something hits me and I feel it here, but the 40 motor one would have felt it here a little bit more accurate. You know, am I going to notice that difference? Or if something goes across my body and it hits these motors, am I going to notice the difference of how many less? You know, I don't know, because when you're immersed, I feel like there's going to be, you know, I'm not sure. So, Cheers, Jason said, Pop One on Steam or Quest. You actually have Pop One on both. You have Pop One on Steam and Quest.
Yeah, I go back and forth because I use one for streaming purposes. I use it on Steam because it's easier to use chat overlays, stuff like that. In my personal experience, though, I grab my Quest probably for it. So
it's just easier, and it doesn't look much different from the PSVR build to the Quest build. So I only have it on Oculus, and mainly because it's cross-buy, so I can play it on PSVR through Oculus, or I can play it on the Quest. So that, to me, was a little bit of a benefit there. I don't know. I mean, it's I
don't know, and I could use Revive and do some other things, and just
it does.
I mean, you do have the cross buy, so it's probably smarter to buy it on Oculus.
It depends on what headset you have too. I mean, if you have
or if you want to upgrade, if you think you want a Quest 2, you know, and you only have a PC headset, probably get it on Oculus, so then you get the cross buy, right? I mean, I don't know. To me, that's probably the smart buy would be Oculus.
I went a long time doing Steam, buying all my stuff on Steam, and I never really thought much about it. And then I got the Quest 2, and the main thing that hurt me was Saints and Sinners. And I was like, if I would have bought that on Oculus, I'd have it on Quest for free. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a hard decision sometimes, but
I know.
Yeah.
Virtual, cheers. Got his coffee in and VR mug.
Oh, nice.
Cheers.
Are you going to be picking up B Haptics?
I don't know, man.
I'm still on the fence. I haven't ordered yet, only because I spend too much money. I spend way too much. And you just bought something this morning. So
I did. Yeah, I actually have to go pick up a new drone after this. So I don't know. See, I would love to hear from somebody who has the 40 and has the 16 in hand. Yeah. Because if they go, it is a downgrade, I don't want to downgrade. Like, if it's the same, I mean, I guess they wouldn't be selling both still, though, if they felt the same, right? I mean,
I'm sure the 40 motor one is better, but how much better is it? You know, how much more immersion are you going to feel from that 40 compared to that 16? I don't know.
Less motors, what does that give you? Better battery life?
Yeah, or maybe they have a breakdown on their website, actually.
Do they have the battery breakdown?
I believe the 16 one has a smaller battery in it, but I think it's still giving you better, longer life. I'll have to see if I can find it. They do give that breakdown on their site.
My only barrier is getting into it. And I think I talked to Tyrell about this when we were playing the other night, when we were playing Pop 1 or something, that it's that extra barrier for getting into VR. And that's,
and I have that.
I'd have to try it. I would have to try it at like a CES or something, or have one in hand to demo that. I don't know, man. It's hard. It'd just be hard, but I'm sure I would love it. I think it would be freaking amazing to feel those things, feel the gunshots.
Yeah.
Mad Wookie, cheers, man. Another long time OG member. Cheers, guys. I love seeing all you guys and all the new faces too. We really do.
For sure.
Join the Discord. I love watching the Discord. I don't have as much time because I run another company that it's really hard for me to
I'm
put a lot
usually
of
pretty
time
active
into
in
it. But
there. I'm on my phone a
you
lot
try
at
to
work.
be.
Don't tell anybody.
And I know, and I don't have the time to at work, but I watch
Yeah.
it nonstop.
Yeah.
So don't think I'm not on there.
It's a great community.
I'm one of the creepers. But
Breakdown on these batteries real quick before we get off topic. So the 16 comes with a 4900 milliamp battery. The 40 comes with a 9800 milliamp battery. The 40 gives you 18 hours and the 16 gives you 22 hours. So smaller battery in the 16, but more playtime still, even with that smaller battery. So pretty big difference there. 2.5 hours charge time for the 16, 5 hours charge time for the 40. So
the charge times don't bother me because my stuff just charges overnight. Usually. But
yeah, I think for me, honestly, if I was going to buy one right now, I think I would probably go with the X16 because
me too. Absolutely.
I don't know, the cheaper cost. I just feel like I could get enough out of it to make it worth it. So I bought the sub pack a while back, and that was my first endeavor into. You can't really call it haptics, but it's feedback. It is a haptic feedback still, but that has basically one big driver in your back. And I was like, it was really cool for stuff like Beat Saber, pistol whip, stuff like that. It was really, really cool. But for shooters, it was pointless because if I was playing a shooter, I constantly thought I was getting shot in the back. Like somebody would shoot me in the front, I would look behind me because I thought I could feel it in my back. So there is definitely some immersion goes on there because I was immersed enough just with that to think I was getting shot in the back. It was tricking my brain enough. You know what I mean? To make me think I was getting shot in my back.
I have another really cool one, and I don't even know if I told you about this, but VR Mang, which I think his name's back to VR Mang. I just saw in chat earlier too.
Why does he always try to confuse me?
In my head, it's VR Mang.
I always think of them that too,
but he put the drivers. He has the what are the other ones called? Where you can get a couple of them, the base drivers to put on the back of the chairs.
The butt kickers.
Yeah. So he put them, he has two of them, right? One for the back, one for the seat. I think he took them off and put him on his HOTA setup. So he put one on each stick directly. And he said then in game and squadrons, he would feel the hits on the ship in the controls. I'm like, that's a brilliant idea, actually. Like that's a direct feedback in something that has no vibration or haptic. So I thought that was kind of a cool idea actually to do.
Gamertag said 64 likes. We could easily push this stream to 200 peeps. Hit that like button.
Cheers,
Listen
guys.
to GT.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, don't hit it. We have enough likes. Just don't hit it. We're good.
Reverse psychology.
We're cut off. Yeah.
So talking about shift, what were you talking about? Flight controls. Project Wingman. We talked about this a while back.
Yeah, a year ago, maybe. It's been a long time.
That's not
and
right.
I thought it was an amazing balance too, because you're getting the sim and arcade. You know, you get the great visuals, simple controls. I think it's a great way for people to get into flight stuff. Given it can make people a little nauseous. Like I know at first you were a little nauseous getting into. I think it was DCS was the first thing I ever had you try. No,
No, I'm talking the first one I ever tried was that one on Rift.
Elite Dangerous?
No, it wasn't Elite Dangerous. It was the other one.
Which is free, by the way, coming up on Viveport, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it Viveport next week?
Not Elite Dangerous. I can't think of the name. It was that flight game. It was like real popular when the Rift first came out. I can't think of it. Well,
that's Fen Ross. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you. I can't remember. But anyways,
DCS, dude. DCS was like the long time.
No. That DCS was not when we first got our Rift. I never played that until I never played that. I never played that until it was way down the road, and I got frustrated with trying to take those planes off and stuff. That was
I don't know, man. It's got to be Elite Dangerous then, because that was the first flight sim.
Somebody will say it in chat, but it's not important. We're talking about Project Wingman here. So that is
now you got me thinking, man.
I know. Yeah. So Project Wingman though is coming out. What is it? November. December 1st. December 4th. Yeah, on Epic Store. Yeah. So this is coming out December 1st, Project Wingman. And this is going to be more like kind of an Ace Combat kind of thing is what I think about it, because it's not complete sim like DCS World you're talking about and stuff. It's not a sim game, but this is more arcade. It's kind of a blend between the two. So it's going to be a lot easier to pick up and play. Like you're talking about DCS World. That game was frustrating to me. I don't want to play that game because it took me way too long to figure out how to fly those planes. Super cool if you have the time to do it, because you could literally learn how to fly a plane. But this game is going to be a lot more arcade style. It looks excellent in this trailer, and we talked about it a long time ago. But man, it looks so good. I'm
glad it still looks this good too. I really, because I was fearful. You know, I remember making
somebody just got it.
Valkyrie,
R17 and Tony Digital. That was the first one. Valkyrie. Okay. So that was the one game that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable when I first got into VR. Was playing around in Valkyrie. That's what it was. So thank you. I knew somebody would get it. Oh
Ooh, we
yeah,
love
man,
some
I used to
airsoft.
play some airsoft. Yeah, for sure.
Ooh,
That
I
was
still have
awesome.
my 1911 sitting over here.
Yeah,
My
I still
airsoft.
got some airsoft guns too.
Yeah, me
I
too.
was all about the gas blowback stuff. I had
I know, man. Oh, so
forget that
good.
electric
Yeah.
stuff, gas blowback.
We are into way too many like adult toys
Oh
sometimes. Like
yeah, way too many.
the new drone stuff too is just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
But
Project
yeah,
Wingman is
the
looking
explosions
good.
look amazing. They still look good. Like everything about this is just sick. I can't wait to play this. This could be my first go-to for a G2 even, man. Like the timing might be on point
Yeah,
with when I
because you
get
haven't
mine.
got
So
yours
I'd be
yet.
excited.
So
I haven't. We'll get into that. But
yeah, maybe
it's coming.
it's looking like
Yeah.
a good game. Also, Tarzan is. We got some more info on Tarzan. That's coming out November 17th. So that's like what, next week? So
And I like the comic book aspect, and they're really, indulging in this and showing that is why it looks this way. And I think that is the coolest thing.
yeah,
I really
and they're
do.
staying true to some of the real early Tarzan
Yeah.
stuff. The comic book stuff, the book stuff. They're staying true to a lot of that kind of stuff. And this is done by Stone Punk Studios and Fun Train, I believe it is. So
Yep.
I have some pretty good hope for these. They're talking about
Me
the
too.
swinging mechanism. We know the swinging mechanism in VR can be really good, and they're talking about that being a very fluid thing. Climbing, swimming, even just the open worldness. They talked about how you can just explore the world sometimes too if you don't want to follow the storyline. Yeah, and they've also, I've heard some chatter about possibly this trying to come to Quest 2. I don't think anything official yet. They are going to do PSVR down the road. But
I think it could.
I think it could too. I mean, this art style and stuff, but it's pretty. It seems like it's going to be a pretty big game, and this is also going to be another one of those episodic chapter games. So I believe this is the first chapter that's coming out here in November. So November 17th.
I'm excited for this. At first, I was a little on the fence, but now that they're showing more of it and showing that it is giving you the feels of comics, even with the text inside and stuff, I think it's super cool that it's going to give you those feels. I love. Just diving into that old school stuff like that.
And all the animals and stuff in there, I think is cool. I like the art style, the hand-to-hand combat. They said the characters, like the enemies and stuff in the game, are going to be randomized. So you're not often going to run into the same characters all the time. It's going to be completely randomized through the game, which I think is cool. A lot of different weapons. Some of the episodic chapters, you're going to get a different weapon to test out. The bow and arrow looks good in this. You got the bat. Just like you see the little text there. It says smash and whoosh and stuff. That's pretty cool. So
I do too.
I think this is going to be pretty cool. I mean, are people pretty excited about this? I feel like there's some excitement around this game.
I actually have a friend of mine, Kid Collector, which I know you see him in chat and stuff too. He does comic books over on his channel, and he was gonna freaking love this.
Yeah,
I mean, to literally dive into something that he's obsessed with, just that kind of thing, I think, is what's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
and I heard a thing. I mean, when I was listening to this whole breakdown of this video that they put out, they were saying that Tarzan was technically one of the first superheroes. He was technically one of the first, and I didn't realize that. So,
interesting. Yeah,
that he was before like Superman and Spider-Man, and Batman, and my favorite, the Ninja Turtles, best superheroes ever.
I'm curious when the first like Tarzan comic came out. That'd be interesting. I mean, it must supersede everything.
Well, I think the book was first. The Tarzan books were before the comics.
Right.
But, yeah.
Was that a play on the Jungle Book?
I don't know. I don't know the history behind it.
I don't either,
lot,
actually.
To be honest, it'd be kind of cool to look into. But I think this is pretty neat.
So Limitless just said, "I want an excuse to do Tarzan, cry and annoy my neighbor."
Yeah, right.
Oh my god,
that's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
That would be.
Neat Waters. Thank you so
Cheers.
much. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Seriously, appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
Very active.
You guys are
in
way too nice to us.
Too. I know you guys are way too nice to us.
Yeah. I want to talk about finger guns real quick, and then we got to get into G2.
Oh wait,
I marked it wrong as a trailer.
Oh wait, before we get away from go ahead.
Okay. Just tell me. Just tell me.
Okay. Before we get away from the nostalgia stuff, I was reading an article with the guy who wrote Ready Player One.
Oh yeah, Ernest Cline. Ernest Cline.
And he was saying that there will probably be a third book.
Yeah, they're already thinking about that.
But it's going to be a Ready Player Zero. That essentially it's going to be a prequel to Ready Player One and give the story beforehand in Ohio, which is set in Columbus, the story of kind of how they got to where Ready Player One is.
Oh, that's
which
cool.
I think is super cool.
Yeah, I'm all about it. I'll read all of them.
Though, sadly, it may only be 3. It sounds like he's only doing the 3, and that's in his head. That's as far as it'll go. But it was a really cool article to read. I forget where I was reading it. It was a question back and forth between the writer and him. So it was kind of cool to hear what he was saying, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
just wanted
coming
to throw
out
that out.
end of November. The second book is coming out in November. I've had that on pre-order since day one. I can't wait,
awesome.
and I'm really hoping for another movie. I mean, hopefully they'll put three movies out.
No, they are doing a second movie because he was bouncing ideas off Spielberg about it, and he wasn't letting Spielberg give him ideas. He was throwing ideas at him and what he thought was good or bad. But the only problem, he said, is the first book took him 10 years to write. Right. So it was a long progression of him thinking about the puzzles and stuff. So he said the hardest thing for him is jam packing that into basically a year because he had to wait until doing the tours and stuff after the movie was out and started writing it. So it'll be interesting to see if it's as complex as the first one. And the old school references.
I can't wait.
Me too.
I've read the first book, seen the movie a couple times, probably too many times. So make sure you pre-order that. If you're waiting on that, pick up Gary's book, The Memory Engine, too, because that is such a good book. I loved reading that book. I need to read that again. I really enjoyed. Honestly, just really enjoyed that
Steven
book.
Spielberg will pick that up for
that would be cool. Dude, he did a really good job writing that book. I mean, seriously, that was a very, very good book.
Cool.
So finger guns. Let's talk. We got so many more things to try to get into. I want to spend some time on. So this is a Kickstarter.
Put that away.
So this is a Kickstarter. We put this in the description, so I wanted to talk about it. We haven't played this.
Did I put that in the description? I don't know if I had that one in there.
If you didn't, I'll just cancel it. We won't have to talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. So this is using hand tracking. It's using the Quest hand tracking, and you're basically using your fingers as a gun. So from what it looks like when you go like this is what makes the gun shoot. And I'm curious to try this out. I don't know that I'm completely sold on this idea just because everything I've tried hand tracking wise on Quest isn't perfect yet. It works and it's fun and it can be cool. But for something like a gun that you need to be accurate to hit stuff, and even in the trailer, they kind of just show them shooting off. They don't really show it aiming to hit anything. So I'm a little curious. It's a little different. I'm just curious to see what people think about this.
If it works
audio
that good,
version coming soon of the Memory Engine. Sweet.
There you go. I'm in, man. That's it. I'm in because that's the hardest thing for me. Like I can listen to it at work, so like that would be super cool.
Yeah.
Man, who do you get to read it?
I don't know.
Or that would be really cool. Yeah, I'm interested.
I might have to pick that up too. I have the regular version, the text version, what do you call it, Kindle version or whatever, and I have the actual book that sits on my shelf over
digital.
Here. Yeah. So.
Yep. I'm all in for audio. Good job, man.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So what do you think of this hand track? What do people think in chat?
Has
anybody backed this yet?
How can you? I don't know. Solitaire. Cheers. I just don't know if it's gonna work. Like, how accurate is it?
I don't want to dog on this or anything because I haven't tried it. So I have not tried this. It might be awesome. But for me, the things when I think of hand tracking, guns isn't one of them because if I'm using a gun in VR, then I want to hold something. You know what I mean? I want to have a trigger. Like I want to, that makes sense to me to have a peripheral for a gun. You know, hand tracking for different things like that. That little experience that they had on the mixer thing, whatever it was called on the Oculus store, like that kind of stuff is cool. When you see your hands change into different things and different textures on your hand, that kind of stuff's cool. I think there's some really cool uses for the hands. This one confuses me a little bit though. I'm not sure. So, but like I said, I haven't tried it, so I don't want to say it's terrible because it might be really impressive. I don't know, but
I think it would be cool to be implemented into a game that has hand tracking, but not be the thing you use the whole time. Like it would be cool if your hand turned into a gun or you had lasers in it and like all of a sudden you could shoot some stuff.
Yeah, implemented into a bigger game, right? That's what you mean? Yeah, implemented more into a story.
Like
that would be cool.
That would be cool, but I don't know. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know, like air guitar and stuff like that. You know, we talked about like that kind of stuff. Like, I feel it's cool to try in something, but past that, I don't know. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Mewater said, I want the feel of a gun in my hand. That's how I feel too. I'd rather be holding a controller for a gun game. Paradise Decay. Hand tracking's not there yet. Give it a couple more years. James Darkwood, it would be like being a kid and going pew pew.
Right. That's 100% what it is. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I like I said, I haven't tried it. Maybe it's really good. I don't know. I did want to throw out real quick too before we get into G2 some PSVR stuff because we haven't got to talk much about PSVR stuff. PS5 is out. People at work have been talking about PlayStation 5 a bunch, trying to get it. Blood and Truth trailer here because I think that is one of the first games that actually got updated to take advantage of the PS5 console for PSVR. So that's some good news that we're actually seeing. And this game looks amazing. I mean, everybody loves probably one of the number one games on PSVR.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, to get the higher refresh rate, better textures, everything else, it will be updated for PS5 for the PlayStation VR. So that's really cool.
I want that.
Yeah.
I want it. That almost makes me want to get it. Almost.
Yeah. I still want to get the PlayStation 5
I know,
once,
the next gen.
once we get a PlayStation VR 2, I'm all about it. I just don't know that I want to pick it all up now. And you can't even get a PlayStation 5 right now anyway. It's very hard to get. So
true. Yeah.
It's whatever. I'll wait till next year to maybe try to get one. Or, I mean, we're talking 2022 from what Sony has said for the next PSVR headset. So
I'm just over flat gaming in general, man.
What is
like
that? Flat
when
gaming?
we were streaming, well, Jayham said he has, he can correct me if he's still in chat if I'm wrong, 3,000 hours in PUBG, right? And has not gone back to flat gaming basically after getting VR.
I never went back.
And
that's 2016.
I agree. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so old school at this point. You know, it'd be like, I don't know, going back to a Nintendo for my current, gaming platform. And don't get me wrong, I love the nostalgia of it. And I would still
for sure.
play a flat game. Like I would still, my nephew comes over and we throw the Xbox on, play some Goat Simulator on it or something.
Well, I mean,
I totally get that.
Even like PlayStation 5, we were talking about it at work yesterday, and they were showing the new Spider-Man game. I'm not sure what it's called for PlayStation 5, and they're like, "Man, I can't wait to play this. It looks so good." And I'm like, "Yeah, that trailer looks sweet. I mean, it looks really good." But I'm like, I have no interest at all playing it in flat. If I could play that game in VR right now, that new game swinging around in VR and stuff, I'd be all about that. That would be phenomenal. But it's just, I don't know. I just can't get excited about flat gaming.
And this stuff we're getting is just more polished and polished. So eventually people are coming over to the dark side, you know what I mean? And getting these headsets and buying it.
I'm way more excited for Medal of Honor than anything I have seen on PlayStation.
Yep.
Flat gaming. I don't know. That's just me. Everybody's not the same. I understand. But
for flat. Yeah. If it was in VR, it'd be a different story.
Totally.
Yeah,
I think that's everything we have before we get into G2, right?
I'm gonna cry though. I don't want to.
Look at this.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
So
How rubbery are the controllers? We didn't talk about that yet because that was my other thing, like the ring. Because that tripped me out when I saw that. I mean, and a lot of people are like, your tracking's going to be off and stuff, but not really.
No, because it doesn't really.
It's still tracked with the controller.
It's sturdy enough that I don't feel that it moves when you're jerking, but I mean, if you pull on it, it definitely moves. So if you punch this, I mean, I'm not really scared to hit something with this. It's going to take a hit, though. Because it would take a hit. Yeah, I think so. These rings are big. I mean, it's the old ring still from like the older controllers. Sure. I mean, you look at the size difference. I don't know how to
find that though. Yeah, but okay, look how big the index controllers are, dude. Yeah. It's as big as my head.
Right. So, but these do work. The one thing about these Mamut grips, so I'm going to be using these with the gun stock. Yeah. The only thing with these is that on the Quest controllers, you have a little Velcro piece that goes through this up around the ring. The Velcro that is included in this will not go around this ring. It's not long enough. You could get something else to do that, but the controller fits in here tight enough. I mean, you can pull it out, but when you push it down in there, it's a pretty tight fit that when you pull your hand off and stuff of the controller, I haven't, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to come out very easily. I haven't tested a gun stock a bunch with it yet, but
you could always just super glue it on.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that because you have to replace batteries and stuff. But those work great though. They really do work great for the G2 controllers. Full disclosure before we get into this full G2 talk is I got this yesterday and I only have a couple of hours into this thing. So everything we're going to be talking. Well, we'll get into that. Everything we're going to be talking about is my first early impression. So some of my opinions may change. Some of the ways I feel about some of this stuff may change.
Hopefully they do.
Right out of the box, though, when I picked this thing up, and this is without the cord on it right now to make it a little bit easier. When I picked this thing up out of the box, I was like, holy crap, the CV1 and the Index had a baby, and they gave me the G2. That's what it felt like to me. The lightness, when I picked that headset up, I was like, holy crap, this thing feels really light without the cord on it and stuff. The cord makes it feel a little bit heavier for sure. But yeah, right out of the box, I was like, man, this thing is super light. And something happened to chat, but
no, it's okay. It's just somebody spamming.
But that was my first impression. The materials on it, obviously, just like Index. The face gasket, the back head strap. I mean, it's like identical feeling material to the Index. It is pretty light, and it's not. Originally picking it up, I felt you can feel the build quality of the Index feels higher. It feels like a more premium product than the G2 does. But you're paying $1,000 for the Index. You're paying, what was this thing? $599, I think we paid for this.
$599 out the door, yep.
The IPD slider, you get full IPD sliding, so that is nice. It's not 3 settings. It does feel, my slider feels like a little bit loose, but not terrible. It's just, I haven't had any problem with it moving around yet, which I have had with some stuff. It does have the nose flaps on the piece here, which I'm not a fan of nose flaps, and these aren't made to come off and back on. I might remove them. I like having my quick peek of my phone or whatever else. First impressions putting this thing on, the screen is amazing. It is the best visuals I have ever seen in VR. Me personally, I have never seen visuals look that good in VR. Playing games like Contractors and stuff, I could see enemies from what I felt like were very far away, like a much clearer picture far away than what I'm used to experiencing.
Just crispy
in VR.
All around.
Very good
color.
visuals.
I heard the color is really good.
I mean,
too,
the visuals,
I can't wait for.
Great. I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about the visuals. Screen door effect, I don't even know what that is in the G2. I have to really, really look for it to see anything. I mean, it's really not there. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I feel like it's not there. So a big problem that I'm having is that I'm having terrible performance with Steam VR though. So I loaded this up. Yeah, I got in the Cliff House stuff. All that works fine. No performance issues. I was like, sweet, let me download Steam. They have a Windows mixed reality app inside Steam that you download. I got that. I threw it on. I went into Half-Life Alyx, and it was playing, but it was dropping frames a lot, distorted, a lot of issues. I'm like, what is going on? So
said it was maxed out, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I loaded up Contractor. So I usually run my index at 120 hertz. So I rolled that back to 100 hertz, or I mean, not 120 hertz. I'm sorry, the super sampling. I run at 120% for normal index. Yeah. Right. So I rolled it back to 100% for the G2, figuring that would level some things off. The really weird part for me that I don't understand is that what I did is I went into Contractor. The game wouldn't even barely load. It would load. It was geeking out. It was just totally freaking out, completely unplayable. So I was like, well, let me try Revive. So I loaded up Oculus games on Revive, and it worked fine. Played fine. I didn't have the issues that I was having. Steam VR, it was a disaster. It was just unplayable, almost everything on Steam VR. So I was doing some research on Reddit and stuff, and I found that people are saying that you actually need to run the super sampling at 60% because it's not seeing the native resolution correctly on the G2 in Steam. So I did do that. I rolled it back to 60%. By that point, it was pretty late last night. That seemed to fix my issues. Even at 100%, that's running like 3,000 by 3,000 something or whatever. But it's weird though, because I talked to Tyrell a little bit and stuff, and he's running his at 150%. He has a 2080 Ti. I have a 2080.
When you told me that, I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what is going on with all of that.
I know. And even running at that, playing certain games, I feel like pushing out that resolution even higher than what it's, that the G2 is getting. I don't know. And the load on your system with the games, your GPU, I don't know.
Yeah, so that was strange to me. And I still haven't quite figured that out. But for right now, it's 60% super sampling. It's playable and things, even in Contractors. I went back into Contractors and it played fine. So I'm not sure what the breakdown is with that exactly, and I'm sure there's some people that understand this a little bit better than I do, especially how it was working so well with Revive and Oculus. Eric Christopherson, thank you so much. He said, nice show.
Appreciate it, man.
Awesome. Seriously, appreciate it.
Really appreciate that.
So if somebody does understand that better than I do, because using Revive and Oculus, you're still using Steam VR, so it didn't make any sense to me, so I don't quite understand that. Person said drivers maybe, so I went and I made sure all my NVIDIA drivers were up to date. I updated to the newest Windows update. I did that full update, which that gives you some better improved visual quality anyways.
The Steam beta,
I logged in and out of, opted in and out of the Steam VR beta, so none of that stuff really mattered. There are some Windows mixed reality settings that you can go to inside of Steam VR. I messed with some of those. There was like a DX11 setting that seemed to help a little bit, but it was still not good until I rolled back to 60%. That was a little bit disheartening.
I just feel like you should have no issues running a 2080 with that headset, with WMR and Steam now working in partnership and together. I feel like it should have been out of the box.
I didn't have any issues as long as I used Oculus, which made no sense as long as I used Revive.
Exactly, with Revive. Which makes no sense.
So I did read that there's supposedly a bug in Steam VR that's not recognizing the native resolution correctly and all that. So I don't know how true all that stuff is. I'm still trying to figure all that out, and everybody else is too on Reddit and stuff, because I'm not the only person that had this issue with Steam VR. There was a lot of other people reading through Reddit that had that issue too. And the part that to me it doesn't make sense is the whole Revive thing. But Chris Benson said, is G2 full resolution with 2070 max Q possible, or am I dreaming?
Depends on what you're playing.
Yeah, it does depend on game too. I think it is. Yeah, I mean, I think you can get the full resolution. I don't know, like you said, it depends on what game and stuff you're playing. I'm running a 2080 regular, and other than the Steam VR settings, that's the hard thing for me to fully understand right now. But if I'm running 60%, which is still like close to the native resolution of the headset, then it works and it plays okay. Sure. So that's a little bit weird. Yeah. Let's chat. Thanks for that super chat.
Cheers, guys. Man,
Hussein X, flat gaming when you have VR is like drinking hot water when you have coffee. Coffee and VR is the way to go. Hot water. That's awesome. I like
Cheers,
that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Cheers, Hussein. That's amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome. So originally out of the box, I had some frustrations. I agree it should be a little bit easier, I think, but it's with a new product, sometimes you do run into some of these things till they get all the little kinks worked out.
Correct. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like everybody has that issue with Steam VR. Like I said, Tyreel's running 150%. I'm not sure if MRTV is still in here. I'm not sure what super sampling he's running at. I was talking to both of them a little bit last night, trying to figure out what was going on. But the visuals are amazing. The lenses are an improvement over the Index. The lenses are hands down an improvement over Index. You don't have that glare and stuff like you do in the Index. The Index, I could see the glare. It never bothered me as much as some people, but I don't see the glare in the Reverb G2. So that glare for me is not there. It looks really, really good.
I've heard that. Yeah, and the sweet spot is good too.
Yeah, sweet spot seems to be pretty big, especially coming from the Quest 2, which I have an issue with their sweet spot. The sweet spot is really good on the G2. Getting into some of the tracking, let's talk a little bit about the tracking, because I had some experiences with tracking for sure.
The problem with mine is my tracking is just not working yet at all on my G2.
Because you don't have a headset. Get out of
here. I'm so mad about it though. It doesn't even show shipping yet. Like, come on.
Well, mine didn't either. Like mine out of nowhere, I just got an email that said it was coming the next day, and I was like, "What?" So I never got an email saying it had shipped.
It was processing or
I did pay for the 2-day shipping though, so that helps. I paid for the faster shipping originally. Getting into the tracking, we're shooter guys. We love first-person shooters. So that is the most important thing for me when it comes down to tracking with the G2. Like I said, still early impressions. I played some Onward. I played some Contractors. I haven't used the gun stock yet. That's going to be the next thing that I'm going to test out, the gun stock with the G2. So tracking for me, actually, when you're holding the gun and you have the two controllers up and you have your gun in the ready position, the tracking for me actually seemed to work pretty good. Like I mean, it's still not on the level of the
down the sights, right?
Yeah, it's still not on the level of Oculus tracking yet. It's not there, but it's good. I think it's good enough for a shooter game when you're in the ready position. My problem came when I'm in the low ready position. So when you're playing a shooter game, your gun is usually down like in a low ready position because you can move faster. If you keep your gun up the whole time, your character moves slower. In the low ready position, so the main problem is the predictiveness of when it can't see the controllers well, and you see that the cameras, they're not low. Like Quest and stuff are kind of down here in the corner, so you can kind of see down a little bit. So when I'm moving around in a game and I'm in the low ready position, that was when I would lose tracking, and my hand would I would see my hand just pop off sometimes, and it would go off up in the air, and I'm like, what? So that was really disheartening to me. And part of the problem, especially when I was playing Onward, I had that set to hand relative movement. So that means if you're playing a game and you move your hand over to one way, your character kind of goes in that direction. So at one point in time, I was in the low ready position. My left hand popped off into the right side, and my whole character started walking right. And I was like, that's not good. Like that's not good. So,
which you can do a correction by doing, head controls instead of controller. But still, it's that's not native to what we use. So.
Yeah. The thing is that they need to make some changes, because when you do lose complete hand tracking, like when your hands are down and you lose tracking, your hand shouldn't pop off into the right hand corner. You know what I mean? Right. They need to somehow change their prediction measures to be a little bit more accurate of where it thinks it is.
Maybe. Yeah.
And sometimes even the delay. Sometimes when your hands would pop off and it would go off, it would take way too long, I thought, for your hand to return back to the normal position. It wasn't instant. You know what I mean?
But my thing is they should see that in prediction, right? So your hand naturally can't go from under the lens to above it in a millisecond, right? Without seeing that in between.
Right.
So I feel like that's the point where they should disable that from even showing or going that direction. Like there needs to be a little bit of a delay in that, to where it's not thinking that it's all of a sudden up there.
Right.
Like
yeah,
it needs to see the
that's
in-between.
jarring to me. I'm not used to that. This is
Right.
so this is my first Windows mixed reality headset that I've ever owned. I have
too.
played with the Samsung Odyssey and stuff before, but I've never owned one. This is the first Windows mixed reality. So, and I had those same tracking issues when I tried the Samsung Odyssey back in the day, where my hands would sometimes float off, and that's not good. They got to get that figured out, especially for me, I always have my hands down to the side. When I'm just in a neutral position or whatever, my hands are always down to my side. Playing on other headsets, I've never had that issue where it completely loses them and doesn't know where they're at. You know, it should see the last place they went and remember that it didn't see a move, you know, like kind of like you said, the predictiveness. So that is an issue that I have. So even just having my hands down to the side, a lot of times my controllers would pop off and go random places. That was not good. So I think there's definitely some work that still needs to be done, especially in the tracking.
I remember this happening to me with the Rift S when we first got it. And they did improve that, because those were a lot of my early issues with that. And the reason being, that's the only headset I've ever gotten rid of was my Rift S. And then they did correct that with software updates. So I get it. I get the feeling of that, because it was almost a deal breaker for me. And for some people, maybe that is. But
they greatly improved the tracking of the inside out system on Oculus after first Quest and Rift S came out. My concern with this is that this Windows mixed reality tracking technology has been out for a long time, and it's still not as good as I think it should be. And the 4-camera setup, you know, you have the 2 cameras on the sides, but it's still, I mean, I should be able to put my hands down by my sides in a relaxed position without it going off crazy.
I know.
So Mr.
The man.
Talk about Windows Mixed Reality Game Library. How is the Windows Mixed Reality Game Library compared to Oculus, Vive, and Index? I did not even really look too much at it, because I'm going to be using Steam VR. I won't use any of the game library through the Windows Mixed Reality software.
Exclusives, unless they have exclusives.
Like the Flight Sim, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. That's probably going to be in there right off the bat. So I don't think that they're going to have the games library of something like Steam or Oculus, either one. So I would recommend using something like Steam, especially once I get that running better. But
I don't think it's going to compare, though,
with the tracking. It wasn't so much my main concern. I never even thought about the fact of the low ready position of a gun and stuff. My main concern was looking down the sights, and with that, I didn't have too many problems. That seemed to be, for the most part, okay. Still not as good as some others, but I do need more time in there to really get into some good heavy multiplayer and see how it goes. But
so by not having, you know, if we look at the Quest, you know, the Quest 2 specifically, they're even more protruding and more pronounced at the corners, because now you're giving it more of that, you know, FOV for the lens to see where it's at. By having them on the front and the side, you're keeping basically on those planes for where it's seeing it. So I don't know. It's a little tough.
So Paradise Decay asked, did you try any bow games? I haven't tried any bow games yet. Like I said, I only got a couple hours because I was trying to figure out why Steam. I think the bow games might be okay, though, because of the camera right here. So if you're bringing it, as long as you're bringing it back to around here and it can still see it, you know, if it's still close, you know, it might have a couple issues. I think it's mainly when it can't see them. That's my main issue. So when your hands are down by your side, if you're playing a bow game and you're bringing it real far back, which you shouldn't be really, but you're going to lose some tracking.
It's more your center area, probably your stomach area, where it's not going to see as much.
Just your hands down to your side and stuff like that.
I wonder, like, if in Population 1, when you pull the light post into your stomach, is it going to see that or not?
Probably not.
Probably not.
But for me, I don't understand, because like playing on an Oculus headset, you know, when your hands are all the way down by your sides, it can't see those really. You know, I mean, it's still going to have a hard time from the cameras really seeing those. But I've never had them pop off and go into space. That's the part that I don't like, that I do think they need to fix.
I think they could.
Yeah, the controllers. So talking about the controllers a little bit, they're not bad. They feel a lot like the touch controllers. I think they feel very similar to me. The buttons are a little more. They're a little more clicky for sure. They don't have the space that, you know, these buttons have, where you feel some movement and it's just a soft. You know, you can't even barely hear these click.
Right.
You know, I mean, you can't really hear these. Where these are very analog, very clicky.
That's okay. I'm okay with analog though. I don't mind it. Yeah.
Doesn't bother me. I mean, the thumbsticks click like they should. Like it. Yeah, they don't feel bad. The main complaint I have about the controllers are the haptics. The haptics are weak sauce. They're not impressive very much. They, like, when I first noticed the haptics, I honestly heard it more than I felt it. Like I heard it and I was like, what? And it's not terrible, but it's not, I think they could have, you know, done a little bit better on the haptics.
Went to a bigger motor, bigger weights on it, maybe.
Yeah. But the thing is, you do have to remember is that this is a $599 headset, you know, comparing it to the Index and stuff.
That's what I told you. Yeah, it's trade-offs, man.
Yeah.
It's trade-offs.
They have to make some trade-offs. The audio, no different from Index, sounded the same to me. I couldn't tell. So it's excellent audio. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have a little bit of mixed feelings on it, but man, those screens are unbelievable. So the benefit that you get from those visuals, is that worth some of the trade-offs with some of the tracking and some of the other issues that I've had so far? I don't know. I need more time.
Again, everybody's different, man.
Everybody's different.
Yeah, it is. Nobody wears, you know, the same size shirt. You know, not everybody wears the exact same size. Everyone has different things, different head shapes, different, you know, some people like audio better than they like visuals or field of view over high res. So everyone has a preference.
I did notice the drop in the field of view from the Index to the
from the Index
to the I mean, to me, I don't know. I still, like I said, I need more time, but I feel like the field of view felt pretty similar from playing the Quest 2. Going into the G2,
a lot of people are saying it's 10 over, but I
didn't
know
really
it's going to be
notice. There wasn't anything that I was like, whoa, like this feels really small, or whoa, this feels really big after just playing the Quest 2 the previous day. So somebody asked, are they capacitive like the Quest? The controllers are not. There's no capacitive sensors at all in the controller, so it doesn't sense when your thumb is on the stick. It doesn't sense when your thumb's on the buttons or anything like that. There's no capacitive touch in the controllers at all.
What about the grip and the trigger?
What about it?
Does it have the slow motion through the grip pulls and stuff? Did you notice that in game?
Honestly, I don't remember. I'd have to
go
back.
Is it on and off, or is it full motion?
I can't remember now, to be honest, and I don't want to say because I can't remember for certain. So I mean, I was testing the tracking, you know, the gameplay.
Yeah, I know you noticed too many things.
I don't think it's on and off. I mean, you can feel the. I
wouldn't think so.
I don't remember for sure, and I'm sure probably if Tyrell or MRTV is in here, they'll probably remember because they've had way more time with it than I have. But yeah, I mean, that's so far kind of the way.
Yeah, it's just the one fear for me was always the software. You know, is the compatibility and the ease of use with it and tracking. So
and
I feel like it's good. I don't feel like it's great or surpasses by any means, but I feel like it could.
I haven't got. I don't know if there's a way to, but you can't run Steam VR without running the Windows mixed reality software as well, which is kind of like Oculus and stuff. You know, I would prefer I don't want that software at all, to be honest. I'd rather just be able to open up Steam and see the headset and play without running some extra software. But I don't know. I also have a 2070 laptop that I'm going to be testing this out on too and see how it plays with that. You do have a AC connection, so you have a cord that plugs into the wall. You have a display port and a USB-C. So those are the three connections that you need.
The plug-in is forced now, right, to the wall. It was going to be I originally, but now you have to, right? There's no option.
As far as I know, you do have to plug it into the wall. So, I mean, it's the thing is are the trade-offs worth it for you? I think is the big question. You know, because the visuals are hands down the best visuals I've ever seen. And I do think that you get a benefit in, you know, playing a first person shooter game. I think you have a little bit of an advantage. In distance and sight and stuff like that. Playing in this headset, I do think that you do. But then again, you have a little bit of a trade-off with the tracking. And, you know, some of the problem that you run into is when you're in the low ready position and it kind of loses that. And then quick enemy pop up. It's not always the fastest when it loses tracking to bring tracking back in. So that can be a problem.
Needs to be a little better.
Yeah. Sure. Another thing that I thought was really weird is that there is a proximity sensor in this headset, right? Like every other headset. So there's a proximity sensor right there that tells when the headset is on your head. But when you take the headset off, the displays don't shut off. So the only way to shut the displays off of the headset is to shut down the software or unplug it, which is strange to me. And I've seen a lot of other people asking questions about that. And that seems weird. Like, why leave them on if it has a proximity sensor to know that it's not on your head? Why leave the displays on?
Okay, but the Index kind of does the same thing. It stays on. I mean, if the screens don't stay on. Screens, right? It doesn't burn the screens, but the headset still stays powered even too, which is odd to me.
Yeah, but why leave the screens on? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know why leave the screens on. The only nice thing is it may not kick us out of, you know, software and games. Like when we're streaming, we have an issue with that. So I'm not going to complain about it yet. I know I was reading about that, but I don't know. It doesn't really
it's
upset
easy
me
enough to
because
just
it's an
shut the
issue,
program down when you're
Sure.
done playing or whatever. You
Right,
just
why
exit
run it
out.
when it's
But if
done,
you forget or something, and you leave your headset off, somebody comes to the door, you run down there and you forgot your
Right.
stuff was on for 4 hours and your screen's
Sure.
just been sitting there on. That's
Right. Well, and the other controversial thing is the green screen issue, and I don't, with the tracking for green screens causing the tracking to drop. And I don't know if it's really a green screen issue as much as it is a solid, consistent surface that's one color.
It's smooth, one color, yeah.
Yeah, because those, the cameras are looking to compare to what's in the background as well for tracking. And I just feel like it's going to get lost if that's all it sees is one matte finish. It's more, if you were in a boxed room that's all white walls and nothing in there for tracking, it's going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like a walled green screen is going to be the same thing as a wall in a room with nothing on it.
Yeah.
So throw some crap up on the wall, put a picture up there, whatever. And I think it's going to probably help most people's tracking, and as well as just more light for tracking is always going to help.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah. And you were talking about somebody who's working on a Vive tracker for the headset to use the outside in tracking. And I didn't have any issues with head tracking. I haven't run into any issues with that yet. The head tracking seems to be fine. My only real complaint about the tracking is when it can't see the controllers and its predictiveness is what everything else. I mean, the tracking seems to be pretty good for when it can see the controllers. And even when you're occluding one, it doesn't seem to be too bad in a shooter game. Like I said, I still got to spend some more time in a deep, hard, multiplayer environment in there. But
so Sebastian from MRTV, which cheers, hi, said that it's not the green screen, it's the studio lights. Did you happen to have any of your studio lights on or off?
I tried both. I had at one point in time, I had low lights, so I had just a couple lamps on, and then another time I had everything on. So,
and no difference really between the two?
Like I said, I mean, I only spent a couple hours, so it's hard to know for sure the exact differences, but
so the odd thing to me is the problem with, I would say, might not even be studio lights, but if you compare an incandescent or a halogen to an LED light, cameras actually see a flash. So that could be confusing as well to it.
Yeah.
Cheers, Dion.
So he said, is it worth the upgrade from a Rift S for a non-competitive VR gamer? I play mostly horror games. Absolutely. I definitely think it is. I mean, if you're a non-competitive,
to a G2?
Yeah, to a G2, I'm sure is what he's asking. I think so.
Agree.
Yes. I mean, the screens are unbelievable. The screens and the audio, just that bump that you're going to get in screen and audio, and lenses from the Rift S is spectacular. Especially if you're a visual kind of person, an audio kind of person, it is absolutely an upgrade from the Rift S.
In horror games, to see it better, to see the contrast, to hear it better, probably,
And the darks, I think the darks are pretty similar to like the Valve Index and stuff. I mean, a lot of people complain about the darks in an LCD panel. I've never really been one to nitpick that. I feel like the darks feel good enough to me.
I would love darks, but the contrasts and the brights and the highs are probably so far, you're creating that higher contrast, So by being able to turn the brightness down, you're not seeing those illuminated dark spots as much either.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a great headset. I mean, it really is. It's very comfortable. I wouldn't have any issue wearing this for a long time. I did notice that I did reach for the adjustment knob on the back just to find it's not there quite a few times because I've been playing, Quest 1, I had the deluxe audio strap with a twist knob. Quest 2, I have the Elite strap with a twist knob. Valve Index has a twist knob, and the Rift S has a twist knob. So I've become very used to reaching for that. I do like that adjustability better. It bothered me a little bit more than I thought it would, but once you dial it in and you get all, because I mean, it's just like the CV1. You have a strap, a top Velcro strap, and side Velcro straps. You get all that dialed in. It's got the pull. So once you have it set, you're good. You can just throw it on. But I did find myself reaching for that adjustment knob, which I was like, what?
Sure, because after wearing it for a little bit, I feel like even though they don't, I feel like they loosen up, or I want it a little tighter after like one session or one game of Pop 1 or something.
Right. So
usually, but that's me.
Yeah. So these, I said, these are my very early impressions. I think probably next week I might have some different things to say about it. I'll have a lot more playtime in it. So just remember, these are very early. I haven't had days or weeks to test this yet. I've literally just had hours, and I was running into problems with Steam VR. So hopefully that'll be all figured out. I think I'm going to wipe my computer completely clean today and do a fresh install because I haven't done that in a long time, and my computer sometimes acts a little funny anyway. So that's where I'm at right now. So we do have to wrap this show up. Unfortunately, we had some people coming over to give us an estimate on some work on the house, and I think they may be here. So Yeah,
Nice.
that's my thoughts on the G2. Feel free to ask questions after the show in the comments and stuff. If you have some, I'll try to get those answered as best I can. I look forward to spending some more time in it. The visuals are simply amazing. I love them. So.
Yep. So I know you have some people coming over to look at a bathroom remodel. Make sure they put that drop-in VR headset right over the sweet spot.
That's the only reason they're coming.
Don't forget, man. Don't forget.
No doubt. No doubt. So, yeah.
No hands then.
Yeah. Sorry, we got to wrap this up pretty quick here, but we went a little bit longer than we wanted. But that's my early impression. Some great games coming. There's so much good stuff happening in VR right now. It's very exciting time. Very exciting.
I know.
So
such good stuff.
Yeah.
And wait, is it? No, it's not next. No, maybe 2 episodes. You may be coming back here, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe.
So we'll do hopefully some fun stuff while I'm back there in Ohio.
Yep.
So
exactly. Yeah. So make sure you definitely subscribe. We appreciate all the likes and the the super chats. I want to go back to these. You guys were
real quick while you're looking those up. Blam Crotch said I had 3 Windows mixed reality headsets, and you kind of learn the tracking issues and train yourself to avoid it.
You do.
And that maybe, but I want to be able to carry my gun in the low ready position. That's how I move. I'm so used to that. So I'll have to hold it out a little bit more away from my body. So that may be something I get used to. I'm not sure. Hopefully they can fix some of that stuff too. Some of that predictive stuff. So
I know.
Yeah.
Man, super chats, by the way, cheers guys.
Yeah,
you got,
amazing.
I mean,
so many today.
Holy crap. And the likes, I see the likes and the viewers. But wow, cheers to South Memphis for the early. That was before we were even live. Yeah, that was amazing. Tony Digital, as always, Scott Merrill, if I can, Mitt, My Thrill Chew, these names sometimes. Jason, as always, man, drop in on his new project.
Can't talk about that yet, I don't think.
I know. Mad Wookie, May Waters, Eric, Christophenson, Chris Benson, Let's Chat, Hussein. Jeez, Mr. the Man, Dion, cheers, guys. You guys are freaking amazing. Everyone on the Patreon, which we still run. We don't do enough on there. We spread ourselves too thin. Join us on Discord.
Yeah.
Hit the dingy thingy. You guys know. Yeah. All right. Good enough. But all right. Yeah. Anything else you got, man?
Nope.
G2.
I got.
What's your verdict, man? What's your final verdict?
My final verdict is I haven't played enough in it yet. That's my final verdict.
Come
on,
back
next week. Right. Come back next week.
All right. I'm good with that. I want to hear too, man, myself.
Yeah.
So.
Seriously. Thanks everybody so much. I got to run.
Yep. As always.
Yep.
Later, guys. See you back here or see you in VR.
Later.
Peace.
I got into VR in 2016. That was when we first we got the Rift.
Howdy.
Hey, it worked.
There he is. How about
Perfect.
that?
Hey.
We're lucky to be here. I will admit that. My name's Tyler. This is Shawn. We're Rendered Reality, and we were definitely up late playing some VR last night.
Yeah.
Hole is bigger.
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
It's not always better.
Let's keep it PG, boys.
I mean, right? We don't know like how much sound is coming out of it.
It's true.
Right.
Is there more sound coming out of it? We don't know.
Yeah.